Aid workers in the Central African Republic have tried for a third time to distribute food to thousands of people who fled their homes and set up makeshift camp outside Bangi's airport. The first two attempts to hand out aid at the site were called off after the situation became too tense and insecure. Organizers, however, say the latest effort was relatively successful. The United Nations Refugee Agency, alongside the World Food Programme and the NGO CUPI, distributed what they said was enough food for 12,000 people.
The airport is a complicated site. More than 100,000 people and no clear management. And the two times we tried to distribute aid, it was a failure. We have dared to try, telling people to organize themselves to allow the response to the humanitarian demands and to facilitate their work.
For more discussion about the situation in the Central African Republic, we're joined here in studio by Thierry Vircoulon. He is the project director with the International Crisis Group responsible for Central Africa. Thank you, Thierry, for joining us tonight. So the UN is raising fears that the C.A.R. could be headed for collapse as a state. Is this a viewpoint you agree with?
Yes, definitely. Already in June last year, my organization said there was a state failure in Central African Republic. And now there is a complete collapse of state functions. There are no security services, there are no basic services for the population, the roads are unsafe, mass graves have been found in Bangui, the capital city, and basically the central government is not effective anymore. There is no central government authority in this country.
But would you say that C.A.R. perhaps has reached a point of no return?
Well, I don't know what is the point of no return, but what is pretty clear at this stage is that the transitional authorities have failed at so many levels. They failed to, of course, protect the population, to prevent the escalation of violence between Christian and Muslims in Bangui. They failed, of course, to set up governance structure that would be effective in the country. Now we see part of the country that are basically run by self-appointed military commanders. So that's really a situation that you can call a complete state collapse. So the transitional authorities now don't seem to be effective at all. And the people who are trying to prevent a bloodbath in Bangui at the moment are the Archbishop and the Imam of Bangui. They are not the transitional authorities.
So we've seen the French send troops there. The African Union as well has done the same. The UN, though, hasn't yet. What else do you think needs to be done to save the Central African Republic?
Well, I think right now there are the African Union troops and the French troops who are doing interposition between the Seleka fighters and the anti-Balaka fighters. But this is clearly not enough. What is missing is political negotiation between the fighting parties, between the Seleka and the anti-Balaka militias. Michel Djotodia made an offer actually to discuss with the anti-Balaka leaders. The problem is that for the moment they're hiding. So they have to come out of the bush in order to start negotiating with transitional authorities.
We keep hearing aid agencies saying the humanitarian situation there is getting dire by the day. Just how critical is it?
Well, I mean, there was a discussion in New York on Monday at the UN Security Council, and the assessment that was 2 million people actually need humanitarian assistance. And the first obstacle to humanitarian assistance at the moment is insecurity. So as long as there is not an improvement of the security situation, delivering humanitarian aid will be very complicated. But I guess tomorrow there's going to be this regional summit in N'Djamena in Chad. And all those ideas about political negotiation between the two parties, about a national conference and also maybe changing the framework of the transition. All those ideas are certainly going to be discussed there.
All right, we'll definitely watch out for that, see what comes out of that meeting there in N'Djamena. Thanks, Thierry, for joining us tonight. We had here in studio Thierry Vircoulon. He is the project director with the International Crisis Group responsible for Central African Republic.